Welcome to another episode of The Scoop. I will be your host, Bryan Greer, and today we'll be talking about week 2 of the college football season. The first game we're going to talk about today is number 19, Nebraska, defeating McNeese State 31-24. This game right here shouldn't have even been close, considering the talent level of Nebraska versus McNeese State, but it was, and the reason being was Nebraska just played around the second half and allowed McNeese State to score 10 straight points in the fourth quarter to keep this game close, and they were actually driving to take the lead when they fumbled the ball, and Nebraska got the ball back and won it on an incredible 50-yard touchdown pass from Tommy Armstrong to the one and only Amir Abdullah, who I believe is arguably the best running back in the nation. This game right here came down to Tommy Armstrong, who had a fantastic game, throwing for 242 yards and also rushing over 100 yards, and also Abdullah, who seems to every week make an incredible play, having three catches for 96 yards, a touchdown, and also getting a touchdown rushing. He right now seems to be a front runner for the Heisman early, I know, but that play he made to win the game, the 58-yard touchdown pass, he broke about 3 or 4 tackles, and there was no way he should have been able to get to the end zone on that, but that's what he does. He's a showstopper, and he seems to always make a big play when needed for Nebraska. So Nebraska was able to avoid the big upset, because if they had lost this game, that would have probably been the biggest upset in college football since Michigan lost to Appalachian State, I believe, about 8 years ago. So kudos to Nebraska for avoiding the upset, because if they had lost this, there's no way they would have been in the top 25, and it would have been a really embarrassing loss for that program, because up there they expect to win conference titles and be competing for championships. The next game that we're going to talk about is number 13, Stanford, getting defeated by the USC Trojans, the number 14 USC Trojans, 13-10. This game right here was a defensive struggle. It seems that Stanford in this game should have been able to win. It doesn't make sense, some of the play calls that David Shaw was calling, because normally on offense they're very crisp. They know what they want to do. And this game was a lot of miskeys, a lot of turnovers, penalties, and that really kept USC in the game. I don't understand what Stanford was really doing on offense. Kevin Hogan looked very shaky, and they actually got the ball inside their own 35. I believe it was about 6 or 7 times, and they just spit the bit. They just kept putting the ball or a turnover and just keeping USC in the game and hanging around. In this game, I thought that Stanford would win, considering that USC is putting in a whole new offensive system and a whole new system with Steve Sarkisian as their new coach. But USC was up for the task. They took the advantage of Stanford's miscues and really won at the end. This game right here was a lot of good defensive plays, but overall Stanford just gave this game away and should have won, especially with it being at home. So I'm pretty sure that Stanford is kicking themselves in the foot for not taking advantage of this game, and with USC back on the climb from last year after Lane Kiffin leaving, they should have won this game. So, but I want to give kudos to USC for taking advantage of this and getting back in the position that most people see them as a powerhouse in college football. So I think that they're going to now make a run at the Pac-12 championship along with Oregon, because their schedule sets up nicely, along with UCLA probably as one of the people on their schedule that's going to give them a run forward. But their defense is nice, and their quarterback Kessler, I think, is improving every week, and they're going to be a force to reckon with now after they beat Stanford, I believe. The next game that I want to talk about is Oregon versus Michigan State, which was a battle of 2 top 10 teams, Oregon being number 3 and Michigan State being number 7. Oregon defeated Michigan State 46-27. this was a game of spurts, in my opinion. Michigan State got out to a pretty good lead on Oregon and was in the first half making a lot of defensive plays, was all over the field, keeping Marcus Mariota on his heels and making them punt the ball and just very much frustrating them. And Connor Shaw was incredible in the first half, just throwing dart after dart and really getting it to his receivers to make plays. But in the second half, it was just all Oregon. I believe they scored 28 straight points, and they were just all over the place. Mariota had his game back on. Byron Marshall was back in it. They were all hitting on all cylinders, and it seemed that Michigan State couldn't do anything. Mariota in this game, he actually broke the Oregon school record for touchdown passes with 69, and he still has almost a whole full season to go. This guy is incredible, in my opinion, right now. Of course, a candidate for the Heisman. He really was just put the team on the back when they were struggling and kept his composure. And once they got going, they could not be stopped. So for Michigan State, I know this is a tough loss the way they started this game out, but no shame in losing to Oregon, who is just a juggernaut on offense. And their defense in the second half really stepped up to the plate and seemed to be able to stifle Michigan State, who is no joke on offense. And also in this game, Michigan State in the first half did score 20 consecutive points, and that seemed to just jolt Oregon for a while. But at halftime, they made the adjustments, got back on track. So I'm pretty sure now, with this one being one of the biggest games on their schedule, they're going to run the table until they probably play the likes of UCLA or USC. So kudos to them for being able to beat a tough team like Michigan State, who's very physical and overcoming adversity in the first half. The next game that we're going to talk about is number 16, Notre Dame shutting out Michigan 31-0. This game right here was pure domination. I never thought I would live to see a team like Michigan and a program like Michigan just get totally destroyed. This is the first time that Michigan has actually been shut out, I believe, since 1984. That is unacceptable for a program like that with the kind of talent they have. In this game, Everett Golston was incredible. He really has improved since his freshman year and since he was out last year. He threw for 226 yards, 3 touchdown passes, all over the field. This guy was just carrying the team. Michigan, they had no answer for him. Their defense was just picked apart all afternoon. And also on offense, Gardner, their quarterback, he was not just in the game at all. I don't know what was going on. He was back to making a lot of interceptions and turnovers and bad decision making. He was all over the place. This was a game where it just looked like Michigan was not prepared to play. I'm speechless, honestly. I don't know what's going on at Michigan. They seem to not be able to play against top talent and top teams. They've given Brady Hoke a lot of time there, I believe. I don't know if he's ever going to find a headset or anything to start coaching on, because they looked just totally outclassed and outmanned in this game. And Notre Dame, their defense is back, I believe. They were just manhandling them. They were just out physically the Wolverines and just pure domination. I'm pretty sure that for a school like Michigan, they're not too happy about this, and that Brady Hoke has got to start winning some games, I believe, because if he does not start beating some top teams, I believe that he could be on his way out this year, because at Michigan, they expect to be compete for championships. And the last couple of years, they have not been doing that, and they've been getting basically embarrassed. And this is one of the biggest embarrassments in their school's history, because this was the last game ever between Michigan and Notre Dame, and to go out there and get shut out 31-0. I know the alums at Michigan are pretty pissed off about that, so I'm pretty sure Brady Hoke's having a pretty rough week, and I hope he does actually find a headset. Okay, next game we're going to talk about is a upset. Ohio State Number 8, Ohio State, losing to Virginia Tech 35-21. This game right here, in my opinion, came down to J.T. Barrett. He was just all off his game. Virginia Tech's defense just rattled him. He could never get in rhythm. They held him to 70 yards rushing on 24 carries. He is a dual threat quarterback. They could not get him in any kind of rhythm. Virginia Tech just kept Ohio State confused the whole game. I've never seen Ohio State at home look as bad as they did. The special teams is back with, Frank Beamer and Beamer Ball at Virginia Tech. They were able to get a few plays with their special teams to turn the game around, and it just was one of those games where Virginia Tech had it all going, and Ohio State never had an answer for this. Barrett was only 9 for 29 passing also. That's unacceptable. That's just horrible. I don't understand how you can have a starting quarterback who couldn't even complete half of his passes, especially at a school like Ohio State. I know they lost their starting quarterback, Braxton Miller, but in this game, they shouldn't have to be worried about at home being able to complete 9 passes. So I want to give kudos to Virginia Tech. They were very much on their game, and Michael Brewer, the quarterback for Virginia Tech, was very much in this game. He completed 23 of 36 passes for 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions, but that last drive to seal the deal with the game, he kept his composure, kept Virginia Tech offense on the field, and Ohio State had no answers in this game. So I see now that Braxton Miller was a lot of their team, because now it seems that since Braxton Miller is not on that field, they seem to not have the same enthusiasm and passion. And I think that they're going to have a tough road to hold the rest of the year now, because it seems that Urban Meyer's going to have a lot to talk about and a lot going on for the rest of the year. So this weekend, in my opinion, the Big Ten was just embarrassed. They did not perform in any of the big games this weekend. This was supposed to be a weekend for them to shine, and they did not do so. So what I take away from week 2 of college football is the Big Ten just looking outmanned and not on the same page with the rest of the conferences. So there might be some changes made in the Big Ten, because up there they don't expect to be second class to anybody. So this weekend was very interesting, and luckily Nebraska did avoid that upset of McNeese State, and there was some good games this weekend. A lot of top 25 battles. So that will be the show this week, and you can see this on our YouTube page, The Scoop. Also follow us on Twitter at @TweetTheScoop, and we will be back next week with week 3 of college football recap. Take it easy.